Hello, you're welcome to my channel. My name is Kumi. I want to show you how I cut and sew this kimono. I made them in 4 different colors for my client, and I'll be sharing the cutting and sewing process of the green one. So this is the fabric I will be using, and I got a matching Asooke. So the logic is to get an Asooke that has a touch of whatever color you'll be using. So I used a total of 2 yards of this fabric. I'm just going to measure it for you to see. So for non-Nigerian viewers, we don't measure in centimeters. In Nigeria, we measure in inches, and 36 inches makes 1 yard. And this is where you determine the length of the fabric. It's 60 inches long. Can you see? So I'm going to fold the fabric again into two. This way my fabric is on 4 folds, and this is because I want to cut the front and the back piece together. As you can see, I have come down by 1 inch downward because of the rough edge, and this line becomes my starting point. I'm going to mark the length of my kimono, then I will add 1.5 inch hemming allowance to it. Then I will come right here and place half of my client's shoulder measurement. So half of my client's shoulder measurement, I just marked that. Then I will place, can you see, our shoulder is 15, half of that is 7.5. From that 7.5, I will mark sleeve measurement. I'll be marking 8.5. Our sleeve is going to be 14.5 in total. My Ashoke is 7 inches long. I'm going to explain this in detail much later. I'll come right here to mark the wideness of the neck. I'll be using 2.7. Then I'll connect it to this 1.5 shoulder slant. Can you see? And then I'll mark seam allowance. You know you are going to join the kimono at the shoulder, so this 0.5 is going to cater to that. Like I said earlier, I'm cutting the front and the back piece together, so I just came down by 0.5. That's going to be the depth of the back neckline. I'm just going to make a slight curve as you see me do. So from that 1.5, I'm going to mark the roundness of my client's sleeve. I'm contemplating between 18 or 19. So I think I'm just going to use 19. Half of 19 is 9.5, and I'm going to add 0.5 sewing allowance to it. So I'm just going to mark 10. The next thing I will do is to put my tape right here and measure all the way to the sleeve allowance. Then I'll see if that's what I have right here, because I will be connecting upward and I need it to be equal. The next thing I will do is to divide the biggest part of my client's body by 4 and add 3 inches to it. In this case, the bigger part of our body is a hip, which is 45.5, divided by 4 plus 3 gives me 14.3, but I'll just be using 14. If I multiply that 14 by 4, I will have 56. So she still has a reasonable amount of ease. I just came down here by 1 inch and I'm going to give it a slight curve. Assuming the sleeve was longer, I would have come down by 2 inches. So that 14 inches that I got when I divided I hip by 4 and added 3 inches to it, I'm going to mark it all the way to the hem of the kimono. I won't be penciling the kimono. I hope you understand. If I had used 14.3, I would have gotten 57, but 14 is okay. So I'm just going to, by the time I stitch with 0.5 on the 4 sides of the fabric, I would have taken 2 inches off. So it means she's going to experience a ease of 10.5. I don't know if you noticed that before I took the roundness of my client's sleeve measurement, I placed the tape on the 1.5 shoulder slant and not the starting point. I'm going to place my tape on the starting point now, and I will mark 16. That's the waistline of my client. I'll come in by zero point 0.5. I'm going to mark that zero point 0.5 all the way to the hem of the kimono. But before I do that, I'm going to connect upward first. I'll be connecting to the neck width. I'm going to connect like this. If you like, you can give it a slight curve, but my ruler is not long enough to give it a curve, so I'm just going to slant it. And like I said, I will be marking zero point 0.5 all the way to the hem of the kimono. You can do one. It depends on how wide you want the space at the center of the front piece of your kimono to be. In my case, I just want the space at the center to be 2 inches. So I'm going to trim off. By the time I trim off, let me trim off first, then show you. I'm just going to eliminate the sharpness at this region, then I'll trim off the neckline and the excess fabric we have at the shoulder region. Open it up like this and remove the fabric inside. That's going to be the back piece, and we are going to continue on this upper fabric that has all our markings, and the only difference is the center. We are just going to trim off this. So this is what we have. This is what I trim off. Having opened it up, I have 1 inch. Can you see? So by the time I weave this place and I fold it, the opening is going to be about 2 inches. Do you understand? So I have opened my fabric up. I'm placing the front piece on the back piece. Can you see? So the front is facing the right side of the front is facing the right side of the back. So I'm going to stitch the shoulder with 0.5. I'm going to stitch the side of the kimono with 0.5 as well, all the way to the sleeve region. Can you see? And I'm going to overlock. I'll do that, then come and show you. So I have done that, and this is what I have. I marked 7.5, and from that 7.5 I marked 8.5. Look at this. So the wideness of this Asooke is 7 inches. So let's remove 0.5, which we are going to use to attach to the sleeve from it. It means we have 6.5, right? Plus 8. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I'll go ahead and overlock this region, then I will fold it into half. I'm just going to fold half inch in, and I'm going to stitch just tiny, and then let me mark the hemming allowance so I don't come back to do this is the kimono is almost ready, guys. It's so simple. The sophistication of this kimono is in the choice of fabric. So this fabric that I used is, I don't think it has a universal name. I didn't get all the colors at one store. So while some people called it ice mikado, someone called it liquid organza. So because I had bought it in a store, I was just going around with the sample. So I think it looks more like kimono. It's shining and it's light. It's really light. So this is the Asooke. It is sold in piece. So one piece is 76 inches long. It varies actually. You can buy and it will be 73. You can buy and it's, yeah, they are in grades also. So some are 80 inches long and all. But this one that I got is 76 inches long. So I'm going to fold like this. This is going to be for the sleeve. Remember that I said the wideness of the sleeve is going to be 19, and then I'm going to add 0.5 mm allowance to it. So I'm going to cut two pieces, one for the right sleeve and the other for the left sleeve. Can you see 20? By the time you fold into two and we stitch with 0.5 on both sides, we would be left with 19, which is our preferred roundness of the sleeve. um this is the pocket. It is 10 inches long. I'm going to fold 1.5 inch in at the upper part of the pocket, and I'm going to fold 0.5 inch in at the base of the pocket, at the end of the pocket. Don't worry, I'm going to show you all the processes. I'll fold it in like this and head over to my machine to stitch. So regarding the sleeve, can you see the center of the front piece? I have stitched, and right now I have about um from the waist downward I have a wideness of 2 inches. So this is the pocket I have stitched like I said. These are the sleeves. I stitched with 0.5 and then I went ahead to overlock. So I'm just going to open up to the right side. So one thing with Ashoke, you can get some and then they won't be rhyme. You know, when I measured the other time it was 7 inches, right? When I measured downward I saw 7.2. So what you are going to do is the starting point when you want to join the sleeve, just ensure that the starting point is equal. So when you want to now attach the ashoke to the sleeve, you attach the part that is not equal to the armhole. Do you understand? You know, people won't see that one. I don't know if you understand me. You attach that part that is not equal to the armpit, and you might be lucky that yours will be equal, but mine is not equal actually. So this part that I'm attaching to the armpit is not equal, so I'm just going to hide it there. I'm going to pin the center to the shoulder, and I'm going to stitch with 0.5, then I'll overlock. I'll do the same thing for the other sleeve as well. Then this is the second to the last thing we'll be doing. We still need to attach the pocket. So I would strongly recommend that you pin the hem of your kimono all the way to the end before you head over to your sewing machine to stitch. So if you do not pin, what you stand the risk you stand to face is that by the time you get to the other end, it might be longer. One might be longer than the other, but secure with your pin and then stitch. This saves from unnecessary stress. So guys, I have done that. I'm just going to attach the pocket right now. From the center downward, I'm going to mark 3.5 all the way to the end. I have connected that 3.5. From the M upward, I'm going to mark 10 inches. Can you see? I'm so sorry, I didn't realize that I was not able to cover the marking, but from the M upward I marked 10 inches. So I'm going to place my pocket on it like this. As you can see, at the M of the pocket I am folding 0.5 inch in, and one side of my pocket is resting on that 3.5 inches that we marked earlier. So it's only the hem of the pocket and the upper part of the pocket that we folded in. We folded 1.5 inch and the upper part and 0.5 at the lower part. We won't be folding in the sides. And be careful not to pin the front and the back piece of the kimono together. So guys, we are done with the kimono. It's as simple as ABC. Let me know your thoughts. This is the center of the front piece, and this is how tiny my stitching is at that region. This is the inspiration, and this is what I did. Thank you so much for watching.